and I'm sitting here in the office of AAA Fair Credit Foundation. And I had started working with them a couple of years ago with one of the representatives. I unfortunately was living in my car at the time, had become homeless, back and forth between the hotels and different things like that, and ultimately last year ended up at the Road Home Shelter. And things have just really kind of taken its toll on me. Um, but in that whole time when I first contacted AAA, and do you want me to mention her name? Is it okay if I mention their names?
Yeah.
Okay, so first I started out by, I don't recall, I think it was Salt Lake Cap gave me your phone number actually and referred me to you. And because I knew that my credit was just, had really taken a nosedive. And I wanted to see what I could do about getting myself back on track. And so when I first contacted you, I got in touch with Joy Chacon, I believe was her last name, and she was wonderful. I mean, in fact, all of your representatives have been great. I later started working with Christine and now with Daniel, and regardless of who I have worked with, they have all just been phenomenal in the way that they follow up and follow through. With phone calls and email notifications and trying to help me get back on track and just being very, very supportive. I mean, after Joy left to have her baby, I came in and started working with Christine when I finally ended up at the road home. And I just sat here and cried for like the longest time because I felt like my just life was out of control. Um, it's taken me some time to get, a little bit back on track. I now have my own apartment again. I I'm not back in school yet, but I'm working towards that goal. But in the time that it took me to get, funding from the road home and get back into a new apartment and everything else just kind of went by the wayside. I wasn't keeping up with my mail, with my post office box fees, things were getting returned, and I just had this really gnawing feeling that things were getting worse because I knew that I hadn't contacted the student loan departments and everything regarding my student loans, and I knew that I hadn't done any of the deferments or anything like that. And I just all of a sudden just recently started having this really bad feeling like you need to get back in there, you need to talk to somebody and see where you're at. And so just last week, I got a hold of Daniel. He was able to get me in like same day basically. We came in, he told me, tell me your story. So I told him what had been going on. And, he's like, yeah, let's do this. Let's get this handled. And Daniel's been totally positive the whole time, like never a doubt in his mind that we couldn't, that my situation wasn't, recoverable. And, in fact, this during this last week, I reminded myself of, what he said to me last week was that there's always second chances. And, praise God for that, and I am just thrilled to be here working with him. We made a lot of great progress today, and it's a good thing. I was feeling ill today and I almost didn't come in, but I, pulled myself up by the bootstraps, came in, and it's a good thing because we contacted the Department of Education, we contacted one of their service providers, and the lady both of them told me that I could get on an income-based repayment plan. One of them probably as little as $5 a month, which seems very doable and very feasible. And then the other one said that I could probably maybe even not have to make a payment, every month for a month. But the good thing is that by my coming in today, we were able to find out that if I had let it go any longer than I already had with not getting in contact with these people that I owed money back to regarding my student loans, that it would have ended up going to outside collections, garnishments could have taken place, and as it is, I'm only making minimum wage and working part-time. I took a job with Deseret Manufacturing, who's been really great in helping me to get back on my feet and just kind of recovering from my homelessness situation. And I could not afford a garnishment, and I was really worried about it. Even speaking with my development counselor, Serenity, at work, she tried to help me get back on the right track a couple weeks ago and starting to call the school, Salt Lake Community College, and find out, how much trouble I was really in. Because, like I said, it took me about like 6 months, even after signing my lease on my apartment in March, to even get to the point where I'm at right now, where I could start being responsible again, because it's really not my style to let my bills go by the wayside. I mean, I used to have a really great credit rating, but once I lost my job several years ago, I decided to go back to school, and then just one thing led to another. And so, as I've mentioned before, you know a little bit of my history as to why I'm here today. But I just praise God and thank the Lord that you guys are here, and that you're able to help me, that He has, allowed you guys, by way of your donations and funding, to be able to help people like me that don't have the means to be able to do it all by myself. And just the support alone is worth coming in, because you guys are non-judgmental. You take the time to listen to your person's story. You're very positive and hopeful, and those are the things that a person needs to hear, regardless of how bad it is, and which, everybody's case is different. But I'm just grateful. I'm grateful that I'm headed back in the right direction, and that you guys are here and able and willing to help me.
Thanks, Beverly.